The fluorescent kitchen light hummed, casting a sterile glow on the half-eaten plates. Becky swirled the remnants of her pasta, the marinara sauce clinging to the fork like a reluctant memory. I watched her, a knot tightening in my stomach. For weeks, maybe even months, she'd been distant. Less present. Like a radio signal fading in and out of range. "John," she finally said, her voice flat, devoid of the usual warmth that used to ignite my heart. "We need to talk." Those 4 words, cliché as they were, hit me with the force of a physical blow. I'd suspected something, felt it humming beneath the surface of our carefully constructed life, but hearing it articulated, it was a different kind of pain. "Okay," I managed, my voice a strained whisper. She didn't look at me. Her gaze was fixed on the chipped edge of her plate, as if the answer to our marital woes was etched into the porcelain. "I'm leaving." The room tilted. The hum of the light intensified, morphing into a deafening roar. I felt a strange detachment, as if watching this scene unfold from outside my own body. "Leaving?" I repeated, the word sounding hollow, foreign. "Leaving where? What are you talking about?" She finally lifted her head, and for the first time in a long time, I saw Becky. But it wasn't the Becky I knew, the woman I had built a life with, the woman whose laughter still echoed in the corners of our home. This Becky was different. Harder. Her eyes, once pools of warm brown, were now cold and distant, reflecting a stranger's landscape. "I'm leaving you, John," she clarified, each word a shard of glass aimed at my heart. "I'm moving out. I can't do this anymore." The simplicity of her statement was brutal. Years of shared experiences, whispered secrets, dreams built together, all reduced to a single, devastating sentence. "Can't do what?" I asked, my voice cracking. "What happened?" "We can fix this, Becky. We can go to therapy, we can talk." She shook her head, a weary gesture. "It's not something we can fix, John. It's not about us anymore." The implication hung heavy in the air. It wasn't just about us. There was someone else. The thought felt like a punch to the gut, stealing my breath. "Is there someone else?" I forced myself to ask, the question tasting like ash in my mouth. She hesitated, a flicker of something, guilt? Regret? Crossing her face before it vanished, replaced by that cold, distant mask. "Yes," she admitted, her voice barely audible. The world narrowed to the space between us, the empty plates on the table, the ticking of the clock in the hallway, each took a hammer blow against my sanity. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me, followed by a burning anger. "Who?" I demanded, my voice rising. "Who is it? Someone I know?" She flinched, but her gaze remained steady. "It doesn't matter, John. Knowing won't change anything." "The hell it won't!" I roared, pushing back my chair, the legs scraping against the tile floor. "I deserve to know. I deserve some kind of explanation." She stood up as well, her shoulders squared, her stance defensive. "There's no easy way to say this, John. It's Mark. Mark from work. Mark. My friend. My colleague. The guy I had drinks with every Friday." The betrayal was a physical ache, a searing brand on my soul. "Mark?" I repeated, the name a foreign sound on my tongue. "You're having an affair with Mark? Are you serious?" "It started a few months ago," she confessed, her voice barely a whisper. "It just happened. I didn't mean for it to, but we connected. I feel things with him that I haven't felt with you in years, John." Years. The word echoed in my mind, a testament to my own blindness, my own complacency. Had I been so caught up in my work, in the routine of our lives, that I had failed to notice my wife slipping away? "So, that's it?" I asked, my voice trembling. "You're just throwing away everything we've built for him? For some fleeting infatuation?" "It's not fleeting, John," she insisted, her voice rising in defiance. "It's real. I'm happy with him. I haven't been happy with you in a long time." Her words were like a final, fatal blow. The air rushed out of my lungs, leaving me gasping for breath. I stared at her, at the woman I thought I knew, the woman I had loved, and realized that she was gone. Replaced by someone else, someone I didn't recognize, someone who could so easily discard our shared history. "I'm leaving in the morning," she said, her voice softening slightly. "I've already packed my things. I'll leave you the details about the lawyer." And with that, she turned and walked out of the kitchen, leaving me standing alone in the cold, sterile light, surrounded by the ruins of our marriage. The next few days were a blur of shock, anger, and disbelief. I moved through the house like a ghost, touching her things, breathing in the faint scent of her perfume, trying to conjure the memory of the woman I had lost. I called Mark, a screaming, incoherent mess, only to hang up before he could answer. I considered confronting him at work, but the thought of making a scene, of airing my dirty laundry in front of our colleagues, filled me with shame. She was gone in the morning, just as she said. The house felt cavernous, empty, haunted by the echoes of her laughter, the ghost of her touch. I wandered through the rooms, picking up stray hairs, finding forgotten notes, each object a fresh reminder of my loss. The lawyer called a few days later, a polite, professional voice informing me of the next steps in the divorce proceedings. I went through the motions, signing papers, attending meetings, feeling nothing but a dull, aching emptiness. I saw Becky once, at the lawyer's office. She looked different. Happier, maybe. She avoided my gaze, focusing on the paperwork, her movements precise and efficient. I wanted to scream, to beg her to reconsider, to tell her that we could still make it work. But the words caught in my throat, choked by a mixture of pride and despair. The divorce was finalized quickly, efficiently. The house was sold, the assets divided. I moved into a small apartment, stark and impersonal, a blank canvas reflecting the emptiness inside me. I saw Mark and Becky together a few months later, walking hand in hand down the street. They looked right. Happy. As if they belonged together. The sight was a knife twisting in my gut, a confirmation of my worst fears. I started therapy, a hesitant step towards healing. I talked about my anger, my grief, my feelings of betrayal. I learned about codependency, about communication breakdowns, about the importance of self-care. It was a slow, painful process, but gradually, I began to piece myself back together. One evening, months later, I found myself sitting in my small apartment, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and purple. I thought about Becky, about the life we had shared, about the pain she had caused. And for the first time, I felt a flicker of something other than anger and despair. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet. But it was acceptance. An understanding that people change, that relationships end, that sometimes, the person you thought you knew becomes someone else entirely. I still miss her, sometimes. I still wonder what went wrong, what I could have done differently. But I also know that I am stronger now, more resilient, more aware of my own needs and desires. Becky became someone else's, but in the process, I began to rediscover myself. And in the quiet solitude of my apartment, watching the sunset fade into darkness, I realized that maybe, just maybe, that was a good thing. The empty plate on the table was a symbol of what was lost, but it also represented a new beginning, a chance to create a life that was truly my own. And that, I knew, was a journey worth taking.